Hey, happy Monday. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Shadow Demons, book 4 of my Shadow Demons saga. I have been literally working all day nonstop. So I have been looking forward to this because this is like a little break to hang out with my friends. So how was your weekend? I hope you had a good one. I wanted to let you know, if you did not see it on my heart breathings, because I know some of you are on the heart breathing side of things and some of you are not, that Erin Condren has announced their warehouse sale today, and things sell out pretty fast. I was trying to get a haul video up of all of my most recent like planner stuff and the seasonal surprise box from EC. I did not get it quite edited because it's like a 45-minute video. I could not help it. There's so many things. And I just wanted to show all of them. So that will go up later this afternoon. I literally almost got it finished, but it's not quite done. But I just wanted to let you know, just in case you were interested, all of their dated planners are 50% off right now for the rest of the year. And it's only March. So you're getting like almost a full year of a planner. And these are like $50 planners on sale for like $22, which is a really good deal, I think. I literally always have mine sitting here. How cute is this cover? This cover is made by Helen over at the Coffee Monsters Co. She made the design and I had it printed at Erin Condren. But I use this little stand and I have this on my desk all the time because I track my time with it. I also have this super cute little trinket bowl that has my little pom-pom paper clips. So much cute stuff. So I didn't really, I would say I didn't buy anything from the planner sale, but I actually did. I bought the teal or peacock color softbound planner, so I couldn't resist. It was only $17. I had to get it. And then, the EC sale, I bought like $100 worth of stuff. So such is life. So it's like this huge thing. I felt like the warehouse sale had less stuff than they usually have. I know Laura said she was a little disappointed with the warehouse sale stuff, but if you're a planner person, go check it out. I don't know if I have a link down below, but if you want to go shop the sale and you want to support me at the same time, you can go to my Instagram account, which is at Heart Breathing's blog, and you can click on the link in my bio and there's a link to go out to the sale. And if you do that, I will get a commission from the sale if you purchase anything. So that would be super helpful if you would like to, or you can wait for my haul video that's coming out later this afternoon and you can look at stuff too. But I felt like they had less stuff. Like usually they have like more of the accessories, I guess I should say. Like sometimes they would have some of their like hardbound or softbound notebooks for only like $3 or $5, but they didn't really have as much of that stuff. So yeah, I agree that it was like a little bit less everything, but there is 20% off of everything else. So I had just almost bought, like they have a ton of Hello Kitty stuff on the site, but they just released new Hello Kitty and Friends stuff. And I was about to buy it last week and I didn't. Now it's all 20%. So, yes, we did change times. I didn't even think to mention that to you guys last week. I should have, because I know we have an international audience here. But yes, the times have changed here. We did our spring forward. Daylight savings time has messed up my entire family's life. I don't know if those of you that have pets or kids feel this way, but it's just like so hard to get a baby back on schedule when she's got to go to bed now and it's bright outside. Oh my gosh. This weekend I have been only getting like 4 hours of sleep a night because of daylight savings time and my HB90 course started. So I'm a little bit tired, but I'm also just like, I don't know how to explain it. I am ridiculously happy and grateful for everything going on in my life. So you guys are a part of that. And I just am feeling very full right now. Like my heart is overflowing. So I just appreciate you guys being a part of that. I wanted to also show you, for those of you who are planners in the group, I know it's a lot of you, and probably those of you that are not planners are like, what the heck is going on? I actually had somebody request a refund on my HB90 course today because they were like, I'm not a planner. I'm not sure what happened. I thought this was a writing course. And I was like, oh, if you're not a planner, this is not the class for you. So that was just kind of cute. But lots of writing things. I have actually considered potentially putting together a course for writing a series. So let me know if that is something you might be interested in. But I got some really cute planner clips from Scheduled Planners that are kind of like luxury planner clips. So this is like Chanel ribbon on a planner. How pretty is this? It's like tan, and this is an Etsy shop. And then look at this one, this Louis Vuitton print on the bright pink. Oh, it matches my nails. That is totally working out. And I have this one I've had for a while, is like a, what is that? Leopard print. And then just a regular pink one. And then I also have the one that's in my planner is just like this Chanel, but it's a black bow with a white ribbon. But these are only like $4, $3, and they're going to last a long time. Like they're really well put together. So I just wanted to kind of mention her shop. It's Scheduled Planners on Etsy. Very cute bows. Now I just need to figure out how to store all my little bows. So I also have, look at this. If you guys haven't seen this from the Erin Condren website, look at this little planner caddy. I mean, I can't handle it. I cannot handle it. I don't have enough space on my desk to hold all of the cute stuff. I need to start giving away stuff because this is just so cute. And you could use this for makeup, right? I mean, I just think it's adorable. So anyway, I will stop talking about all the planner stuff, but just letting you know. Okay. So people are saying, yes, I would love to have a writing course. I have thought so much about doing. Obviously, if anybody here is not officially a writer, but you are actually interested in writing a book because you hear me talking about things more and more, like Christabelle, I know she's writing a book. So some of you may not consider yourselves like authors, but you're interested in writing a book. My Heart Breathings channel has a ton of information, including an entire series about like an 8-part video series on how to plot a novel, how to write a book. There's also a video over there called Getting Started as a Writer. So there's tons of stuff over there if you're interested in getting started. But I have thought about doing a couple of courses for writers, maybe at the end of this year. One being an intro to writers, like very affordable intro course for how to get started as a writer that would only be like maybe $27, $30. But then also doing a more advanced course for how to actually write a series. And it would go through all different types of series. I have a video series on writing a series, but this would go much deeper into how to actually put a series together, how to plot it, how to decide what POVs you want to do, what genre you're writing. It would go much more in depth. So it is really cool. Oh, Carrie, I'm so glad you're here because I was just thinking of you this weekend, that I have to let you know that Evie's favorite book is The Monster ABC. She, every single night, that, and she loves, we have this little Elmo book and she's all about Elmo. But every night she goes, ABC, ABC. So now she knows, she doesn't know her whole ABCs, but she's starting to learn them because of that book. And this was a gift that Carrie sent to me earlier this year. And I just had to tell you how much she loves it. So it's one of her favorites. All right. So I hope that you guys had a good weekend. We went for a trip down to the house, or over to the house, and it just was, maybe that's why I feel so excited and so happy, because we went out to see the house and the view was just so beautiful. And it's like seeing it in person, that so much work has been done, just made me so happy. Elizabeth, I would take a course from you about cleaning a toilet. You are so sweet. So I really appreciate you guys. It just makes my heart happy. So I sincerely appreciate it. I also just wanted to briefly, I don't have any more house pictures, but Debbie, I was going to show you guys some pictures of us at the house, but then I didn't have time to fully do it. So I'll share those on Friday because I got some really cute pictures of the kids out by the house, which is really cute. You guys are so very sweet. I really appreciate it. But let's go ahead and get started in Yay for Hiking. Oh my gosh, Gabriella. That sounds amazing. The weather here is just about perfect. Renee, welcome. It might be because of the time change. I'm not sure. But anyway, here we go. So we are we are going to move forward with chapter 20. We are getting very close to the midpoint of this novel, not in today's episode, but you are going to revisit a character you guys liked from the last book. And next episode on Wednesday, we'll be getting toward the midpoint of this book where things start to really pick up the pace. And then we're just going to have one more week. And then I'm going to leave you guys on a cliffhanger while I go on vacation for a few days. So this is just how we do here at the Shadow World Cafe. I don't know. I just made that up. So anyway, this episode today starts with basically, we start with Harper and Jackson outside the gym. So if you remember last week, Harper had this big cheerleading competition. She went, they won, yay, first place. And all these other teams had come to visit from the previous places. And she was the last one left, except Mrs. King was downstairs in the basement, but she couldn't go into the basement because the janitor or the cleaning guy was there. And he is like, she can't let him know that there's this secret wall you can go through, this big demon head. So she couldn't go down there, and he basically kicked her out. So she gets outside and she's looking for her cell phone to call Jackson, like, why the heck aren't you here yet? And she cannot find Jackson. He's not there. She's all alone. Then she also can't find her cell phone. It's been stolen or taken. She can't find it. Then she is waiting and she swears she hears the sound of wings. And after last book, Bitter Demons, and she learned that these crows not only tried to kill her, but they also actually succeeded in killing her mother. She's freaking out, like, they're back to get me. This is terrible. So she, instead of, you see a little bit of character growth from Harper here, because this is really the first time that she has not panicked. She actually took a moment to breathe and connect to her power. And what happened? She literally tore the door off of the school, off the gym. That's when Jackson comes running over. And as she tore the door off the gym with her superhuman strength, whatever's happening there, she's not sure, she hit that bird. And she was like, oh my gosh, it's going to come after us. And Jackson went and looked at the bird, kicked it, and it turned to ash. And she was like, what just happened? And he was like, I'm going to kill her. And he's like, I'm going to kill whoever did this. So that's kind of where we are, except that she was realizing that yet again, under attack, Airden did not come to protect her. So she realizes, oh my gosh, she took her necklace off during the cheerleading competition because those are the rules, because it doesn't match the outfit. And she now cannot find the necklace. It's gone. So we are on chapter 20, Ash. What do you mean it's gone? Jackson asked. I had to take it off to cheer, I said. They told me it was part of the rules, so I wrapped it in my t-shirt and put it in the duffel bag. I tore through the pile again, close to completely freaking out. Harper. Jackson said my name softly, putting his hand on top of mine. Calm down. It's going to be okay. How can you say that? I asked. I felt sick to my stomach. Someone's trying to kill me, and now I've lost the only thing that can keep me safe? Jackson scooted the bag closer and started going through it piece by piece. I stood and stepped away. I never should have taken it off in the first place, I said. Screw the stupid rules. I should have known better. Without that necklace, I'm completely hopeless. I don't even know how to protect myself. Don't be so hard on yourself, he said, folding my t-shirts up and putting them back inside the bag. Besides, illusions like this are harmless. Someone was just trying to scare you. Well, it worked, I snapped. And what about last night, if you hadn't been there? My hand flew to my neck. My necklace hadn't worked last night, even when I was wearing it. I looked toward the pile of ashes on the ground. Illusions can't hurt me, I repeated. No, Jackson said. They're basically harmless, a stupid party trick. So an illusion wouldn't make Airden come to protect me, I said. Jackson stared up at me. What are you getting at? Last night, I said, sitting next to him, we were attacked with magic, but Airden didn't come to help me. I worried about it all last night, thinking maybe something was wrong with our connection. But what if the witch last night wasn't real? What if it was just an illusion like this? Jackson's eyes darkened. I never thought about that. You killed that witch, I said. But then she disappeared. What if she turned to ash? We never even thought to look for ashes. Here, Jackson said. He held a closed fist out to me. Confused, I held out my hand. He dropped my necklace into my open palm with a smile. Relief flooded through me and tears began to fall. I threw my arms around his neck. Thank you, I said. It was stuck in one of your socks, he said with a laugh. I laughed and swiped at the tears on my cheek, feeling silly. Jackson, are you sure you don't know who? Behind us, Mrs. King emerged from the building. Oh my God, what happened here? She ran through the door and her eyes locked on my face. Her hand rose to her mouth as she looked from me to the broken door and back. Everything's okay, I called to her. I had no idea how I was going to handle this situation. The last thing I wanted the order to know was that I had someone scaring the crap out of me with illusions. Still, I couldn't even think of a good lie, good enough to cover the fact that I'd ripped a door from its hinges. I just got scared and overreacted. Any chance you could help me fix this door? Mrs. King eyed me suspiciously and walked toward us. You got scared and tore the door off the building? What's really going on here, Harper? I didn't like the dark look that crossed her face as she stared at Jackson. Surely she didn't think he would do anything to hurt me. Seriously, everything is fine, I said, except the door. I don't know what's going on between the two of you, but if you've hurt her, he didn't hurt me, I said. He was just late picking me up, and I thought someone was out here. I just scared myself for nothing. It's just all a big mess. Can we please fix it and move on? I fidgeted. I needed her to let this go. If I had to explain about the fake crow and the ghouls and everything, I knew this whole thing would get blown way out of proportion. You promise you're okay? She asked. I'm fine, I said, using every ounce of my willpower to keep my voice steady. But do you mind if I run back into the gym for a few minutes? I need to see if I left my cell phone in there. Sure, she said. I'll stay here and try to get this door back into place. Most of the lights inside were turned off, so I conjured a small orb of light to guide me through the darkness. I rushed over to my locker, entered my combination, and pulled it open. I half expected to see my cell phone lying there, forgotten, but my locker was empty, not even a scrap of paper or a stray item of clothing. My heart sank. When I came back out of the gym, the door was almost back to normal. Mrs. King had her hands on one of the largest dents in the side. Not there? Mrs. King asked, twisting the metal back into place with just her fingertips. I shook my head. Someone must have stolen it from my locker earlier when I was cheering. They didn't want me to be able to call for help. Who was messing with me? And what did Jackson know that he wasn't telling me? What is it? Mrs. King asked. She stepped closer and put her hand on my arm. Harper, what's wrong? I'm sure I can talk to Mrs. Shadowford about getting you a new cell phone if that's the problem. Don't worry about it. Don't worry. Easy for her to say. At this point, the cell phone was the least of my worries. Why don't we head back to my car? She said, I'll take you home. That's okay, I said. I was going to ride with Jackson. She studied my face and must have misread my tear-stained cheeks. I don't think that's such a good idea, she said. I'm taking you home. You and Jackson can hang out some other time. Jackson's eyes met mine with a question. I shrugged. We'd have to talk about the illusions some other night. Maybe later he'd actually be ready to tell me the truth about what he knew. For now, I just wanted to go home and crawl into bed. I walked with Mrs. King to her car. As I got into the passenger seat, I saw Jackson lean down and grab a handful of ash from the ground. He drew it up into a tight fist, then threw it violently to the ground. Chapter 21, The Essence of the Shield. I crawled out of bed the next morning, my body aching from the strain of the performance yesterday. I splashed cold water on my face and stood staring at the diamond earring lying in the soap dish. Was there any connection to all these things? The earring in the spellbook room, the creepy guy in black, the witch in the woods, the fake crow attack at the gym. How were they all connected? Was the whole world against me? Or were all of these recent attacks related? I didn't have much time to think about it before a knock on my door pulled me away from the bathroom. I was only halfway across the room when the door swung open. I smiled. Zara stood in the doorway. She was dressed in head to toe cotton candy pink. Her white blonde hair fell across her shoulders. "Hi, Zara," I said, giving her a huge hug. "Are you ready to get started?" she asked. I'd missed her sweet, soft voice. "Right now?" I asked. She certainly didn't waste any time. "Didn't you just get here? Don't you need to unpack or anything?" "No," she said. "My things are already situated in my room." I glanced at the clock on my bedside table. "It's only 8 in the morning. How long have you been here?" Zara giggled, and it filled the room with a tinkling of laughter. I instantly felt better about everything that had been happening. Zara was here. She would help keep me safe. "I've been here for about half an hour," she said, "but it only took me about 10 minutes to get here from DC, silly." I looked at her, puzzled. 10 minutes? That wasn't possible. It was at least a 12-hour drive. Even if she flew here, it would have taken her 2 hours to get to Peachville from the airport. "What do you mean?" Zara pressed her lips together and shook her head. "The Peachville Order keeps way too many secrets from their prima futura," she said. "I promise I'll show you how I got here so quickly when we make a trip to my mother's house later this week. But for now, we've got a lot of work to do." "Wait, we're going to your mother's house?" I asked, surprised. Zara's mother was a high priestess in the Order of Shadows. Getting invited to her house was a pretty big deal. Zara nodded. "Didn't anyone tell you? Now that your confirmation is complete, you're ready for the next step in your initiation as Prima," she said. "The heritage ritual is very special, and my mother suggested you come to Washington so she can preside over the ritual herself. She very much liked you when she was here. She sees great potential in you." I swallowed. Another ceremony. On one hand, it would be great to get another power boost like I saw with the confirmation. On the other hand, it was one step closer to being Prima. "Great," I said, trying to seem enthusiastic. "We can talk more about that later," Zara said. "Today, your training begins. What would you like to work on first? Memory spells, enchantments, transfiguration?" "Defense," I said. Zara stared at me with a surprised look on her face. "Defense? That's not as much fun as some of the other types of magic. I want to learn how to keep my focus in battle." "Battle?" she laughed. "You say that like you're expecting to go to war at the moment." She was laughing, but that was exactly how I felt. I was extremely disappointed in how I reacted during the last couple of attacks. Illusion or not, I should have been able to stand up for myself. "I can teach you a few defensive spells," Zara said. "But to be honest, I think you have handled yourself extremely well when it comes to everything you've been through here in Peachville." "Thanks," I said, but I didn't feel like I'd done all that much. For the most part, I'd gotten lucky or had a lot of help. I wanted to be able to protect myself even if I didn't have Airden or Jackson there to stand up for me. "Harper, I know it seems like you've been in danger ever since you first came here," she said, "but I can assure you the life of a typical Prima is not like this. Once you've settled in after your final initiation, you'll see that life as Prima is a lot of fun and extremely rewarding. Now that the crows are gone from this area, I hardly think you'll have to worry about fighting anymore." I cleared my throat. She didn't understand what I was dealing with here. "I'd still like to learn," I said, "just in case." Zara sighed. "Very well," she said. "Let's go out to the woods and get started, shall we?" We walked together toward the ritual circle. "Some of these spells are a bit advanced for your level," she said. "I can do it," I said. "We'll see," she said. "Some of this magic is beyond what most futures learn." Most futures don't have their lives threatened on a daily basis, I said. Zara ignored my comment and started her lesson. First, in order to defend herself, a witch needs to understand the idea of shielding, she said. A shield is exactly what it sounds like, a barrier between you and whatever's coming toward you. Zara motioned for me to stay put while she walked several feet away, then stood facing me across the clearing. Throw a fireball directly toward me, she said, and don't hold back. I closed my eyes and focused my energy deep inside my core. When I opened them again, I was fully connected to my own power. I lifted my hands together and created a ball of fire between them. I pulled my right hand back slightly, then pushed the flame straight out in front of me. It flew toward Zara with decent speed behind it. For a second, I thought I was going to hit her. She didn't look concerned in the least, but she didn't seem to be doing anything either. Then, at the last second, just before the fireball hit her, she lifted both of her hands in front of her body. The fireball smashed up against what seemed to be an invisible wall of some sort. Flame shot out to the sides, then dissipated completely. A shield absorbs whatever crashes into it, she said. Fire, ice, poison. Most of these things can be absorbed by a normal shield. There is a catch, however. Zara held her palms out toward me, and at first I couldn't see what she was trying to show me. Then I noticed a glittery substance on her skin. What's that? The essence of the shield, she said. I put it out in front of my body using my own magic, my own core. The further out the shield extends from my body, the more of my essence it consumes. Almost all shields consume large quantities of magic, and some of whatever the opposing witch threw at you will become absorbed into the shield, which means it will also be absorbed into you. When it's just us sparring like this, it's relatively harmless. I don't mind absorbing a tiny bit of your magic into my body because you're like me, a good witch with good energy. On the other hand, however, when you're fighting an evil witch like the crow, absorbing some of her energy means taking in some of her hatred and bitterness. Would your hands still look glittery? No, Zara smiled. Good question, though. Most witches are different in what their true essence looks like. The darker the witch, the darker their magic will appear even outside their bodies. With a witch like the crow, my hands would possibly look charred and blackened. So, what does glitter tell you about me? That you're pure and good, she said, and very powerful. Zara stepped toward me and showed me the correct stance for casting a shield spell. She placed her feet firmly on the ground, one foot slightly in front of the other, to give her stability and strength. Her hands came up in front of her body, one hand placed above the other in a straight line. I copied her movements, palm out. Your shield is an extension of yourself, she said. So, in order to create a strong shield, you must feel the core of your magic deep within. Then let it travel out through your arms, to your palms and outward. When you've properly got a shield up, you'll be able to see it glittering in the air in front of you. I couldn't see a shield in front of you earlier, I said. That's because every witch can only see her own essence when it takes the form of a shield. You can see your shield, but no one else will be able to see it. She stepped back to her spot across the clearing. The key is to create a shield just big enough to deflect whatever is coming your way. If it's a fireball, then your shield should just be just bigger than the fireball is. That way you can serve power instead of creating a huge shield that's much larger than the item you're defending against. Does this mean you're going to throw a fireball at me now? Zara laughed. I'll let you practice your shield a couple times first, she said. Let me know when you think you've got it. Both nervous and excited, I took my stance. I connected to my core power deep inside, then imagined it flowing down through my arms and out into my palms. I thrust my hands forward, then felt a cool rush of energy as a small shield extended out in front of me. I laughed and pulled back, staring at my hands. The shield had been completely transparent, but shimmery. It looked like a type of flat force field that formed a perfect circle around my hands. I took my stance again and concentrated more power through my hands, creating a larger shield in front of my body. I could tell what Zara meant about it being an energy drain. To hold a shield like that for a long time would take enormous power and concentration. Just when I thought I couldn't hold it much longer, I saw Zara conjure a white ball of bright light. I had no idea whether this light would even hurt or what it was made of, but I wasn't taking any chances. I kept the shield up with everything I had as she threw the light toward me. I flinched as the light zoomed toward my head, but watched in amazement as it struck my shield and dissipated. What Zara had said about the energy of the other person's spell being absorbed into your own body made more sense now. A pulsing adrenaline rushed through my hands and into my body. I could feel the impact of the ball of light long after it had disappeared. I let the shield drop and took a deep breath. I felt like I needed to sit down for a minute. It wasn't so much that I was physically tired. It was just that I felt drained and slightly lightheaded. Beautiful shield for a first-timer, Zara said. I plopped down onto the dry, crunchy leaves. I see what you mean about it being hard to sustain, though. You'll get better at it, she said. Instead of sitting next to me on the ground, Zara sat down in midair like a little floating genie. Her long white blonde hair blew back as a gust of wind rushed into the clearing. Zara lifted her face toward the wind and closed her eyes. She looked so beautiful and peaceful. I can feel your energy inside of me, I said. It's like a little hum or something. She smiled. It only lasts a little while, but it's kind of funny, isn't it? It's like getting to see a side of a person you'd never normally see. I immediately thought of Jackson. I wondered what it would feel like to absorb some of his magical energy. I had a feeling it wouldn't be nearly as light and happy as Zara's. What was it you threw at me anyway? Just light, she said. Totally harmless, of course. What if it had been a fireball or something dangerous? I asked. Would it have hurt at all? What you would feel wouldn't exactly be pain, she said. She looked off to the left as if trying to figure out the words to describe it. It's more like an uneasiness that comes over you, like your body knows the energy now flowing through your hands was meant to harm you. It's hard to explain. Can we try one? A fireball? She looked at me like I'd lost my marbles. Absolutely not. This is only your first day of learning to shield. I'm not going to risk hurting you and having the entire local council freak out on me. I laughed and rolled my eyes. Fine. What are some of the other ways to defend myself then? For the rest of the afternoon, Zara taught me various types of shields and protection spells. She taught me ways to deflect dangerous magic and to detect when someone was close by, hiding in the shadows. By the time darkness came, I was utterly exhausted. Chapter 22, No Other Sign. When I got up to my room, I plopped down on my bed, ready to fall into a deep sleep. Something hard dug into my back, and I reached around to pull it out from under me. I gasped and dropped my cell phone down onto the comforter. How did this get here? I thought it had been stolen from me. Frantic, I got up from the bed and searched my room to make sure nothing was missing. Everything looked to be in place. So who had been in my bedroom? The windows were closed and locked, and there was no other sign of anyone having been in the room. I walked out onto the balcony and questioned both Marianne and Courtney. I walked out into the hallway and questioned both Marianne and Courtney, but neither of them had seen anyone in my room. Downstairs, I could hear Ella May cleaning up some of the dishes from dinner. I ran down the stairs as fast as I could. Ella May? Yes, she asked, turning around. She had a white plate and a dish towel in her hand. Everything okay? Why are you so out of breath? She set the plate down and walked toward me, concern on her face. I ran downstairs, I said. Did someone come to visit me today? I mean, was anyone up in my room or anything? Not that I know of. Why? I just thought I lost my cell phone at the gym last night, I said. And then when I got back from training, it was there on my bed. Elame's face broke out into a sweet smile. It must have been there all along, she said. I bet you left it there yesterday morning and just thought you took it with you. She picked up the white plate again and went back to drying. I bit my lip. I knew I hadn't left it there when I left home yesterday. I distinctly remembered having both the phone and my necklace with me in the locker room. You're sure no one came by today? I asked. I've been here all day, she said, and the only visitor we've had is Zara. Thanks, I said, heading back up the stairs. Someone had definitely been in my room, but who? I had a feeling it was the same person who'd been sending illusions to scare me. Would Brooke be capable of something like this? Maybe she was trying to make me look bad by making me paranoid. I sighed and went back up to my room. I barely slept all night. Every few hours, I got up just to make sure my window was still closed. Chapter 23, Magic. A ball of fire flew across the meadow and a rose bush erupted in flames. Crap, I grimaced. Sorry. Zara doused the bush with a small wave of water from the lake. I didn't expect you to throw it, she said with a giggle. I just wanted you to create the fire and hold it in your hand. I know, I said. I didn't mean to. It just sort of flew off. Zara had only been back in Peachville 3 days, and already she was putting me through training hell. I was exhausted. She woke me up every morning at 6 for an hour of morning practice and meditation. Then, after cheerleading practice, she drilled me for another 2 hours before dinner. A couple of nights, she'd even assigned homework. I hadn't had a spare second to even see Jackson this week. I was getting to the point where I wanted to tell her that I never planned on actually becoming the prima. So why make me learn all this anyway? But I knew I couldn't tell her that. Now you understand the purpose of our morning meditations, she said. She held out her right hand and a perfect ball of orange and red flames formed over her palm. The more focused you are on the inside, the more the magic obeys you on the outside. She nodded her head at me. I closed my eyes for a moment, concentrating on the blackness in my mind and a single blue butterfly. When I was certain I'd connected to my own power, I opened my eyes and lifted my palm out in front of me. A matching ball of flames formed in my hand, and I smiled. Good, she said. Now, instead of setting the flowers on fire, why don't you try sending the flame toward the water? Pick a specific target and aim. I looked out over the lake, Brighton Lake. We were close to the special spot where Jackson and I had shared our first official date. I sighed. I missed him, and I felt terrible about snapping at him so much back at the gym when I thought I'd lost my necklace. With my new training schedule, I hadn't had any time to talk to him since that night in front of the gym. He didn't even know someone had returned my cell phone. Watch it, Zara said. You're losing it. I brought my attention back to the ball of flame. It had dwindled to a tiny round flame the size of a golf ball. I steadied my breathing and cleared my mind. I glanced at the water, my eyes landing on a piece of dead wood floating just on the surface about 50 feet away. In my mind's eye, I pictured the ball of flame rocketing toward the piece of wood, hitting exactly on the edge where a cluster of brown leaves had gotten trapped. I breathed in, then quickly let the air out as the fireball shot forward, hitting the wood exactly where I'd imagined. The flame exploded in a red burst, then fell into the water and went out. Good, Zara said, clapping. See, you can do anything you set your mind to if you just concentrate and breathe. I smiled, full of pride. She was right. So far, I'd been able to master just about everything she'd shown me. What's next? I asked. Next, I'm going to teach you how to turn one object into another, she said. Like a glamour? I asked. Not exactly, she said. She leaned down and picked up a small gray stone. With a glamour, you're merely changing the outer appearance of a thing. The change is temporary. She ran her delicate white hand over the top of the stone, and it turned a bright pink color. When she ran it over the top again, the stone turned gray. With transfiguration, you're actually changing the item from the inside out, she said. She cupped her hands together, and I waited impatiently to see what the rock would become. When she moved her hand, a small green tree frog jumped off into the grass. My eyes widened. You're kidding me, I said. Did you actually just turn that rock into a frog? Zara giggled. Catch him and find out, she said. I stood and chased the tiny green frog across the meadow, finally catching up with him before he disappeared into the woods. I picked him up gently and studied its tiny body. Definitely a frog. How does it work? Magic, Zara said with a wink. Not exactly a dun today, but we've got some big things coming on Wednesday. Oh, a few little bubbles there. I'm sorry, I was like my brain getting ahead of my speaking, but I love Zara too. I love going back to the first time meeting her. I have such a clear vision of what this character looks like in my head. It'll be so fun if someday we actually get to see this character in the flesh in a TV series or something like that. It's very, very cool. So I love her. Plus we get to see a little bit more of Brighton Lake there, but who returned her cell phone? Who knows? It's hard to say, but I love that Zara is finally teaching her some things that she is going to need so that she can defend herself, so that she can understand a lot of the things Harper is learning now are things that she should have learned when she was younger. You know, she's like the way Caroline and Meredith are from Cyprus. Those girls have been learning magic their whole lives, right? They have been trained for this. They've been learning not only the social side, like Meredith kind of talked about, that, you know, she's like royalty in Cyprus. She is the kind of queen bee of the high school. She's the head of the cheerleaders because she is going to be the prima. She's going to rule that town someday. And so she's learning that sort of social etiquette style of things, as well as she's also learning the magical side of it. But as Zara shows here, what Harper's dealing with as someone who is getting attacked all the time, this is definitely not the same kind of thing that happens with the majority of the primas. Like what happened to Caroline in the last book, that she got kidnapped, that kind of thing has never happened to anybody in that family before, because most of the time the primas and the council and the women of the Order of Shadows don't really have to fight anyone. Like you kind of get this idea from book 2 that the Others is this kind of crazy sect of people that believe that demons are an abomination, and they believe that any witch that has taken a demon into her body is, you know, evil and all of these things. So you get the idea that there probably are times when this like group of the Others come and attack witches, but for the most part, these women, especially the prima and her daughters, are completely safe because nobody rattles this cage, so to speak. It's like a long-standing organization that is extremely powerful, and no one dares to question them. So now you have this girl, Harper, whose mother, for whatever reason, sent her away, and, you know, then died. So you've got Harper, who's the last of her line, and she has to, you know, come into this world not really understanding what should have been her birthright. And so she's sort of bucking the system, right? She's rebelling against it. She doesn't want to be a part of it. But then, as we saw in the cheerleading competition last week, there's a part of her that kind of does. And maybe if it wasn't for Jackson sort of showing her the truth of what the Order is, she might not be questioning it so much, but she does have him. And so she's kind of being pulled in multiple directions. And here she is like really getting connected to Zara. So then it's like, well, is she going to get pulled deeper and deeper? Plus, we just found out in this particular one that she's got another ceremony coming up. So remember, they told her there are several steps to being inducted, basically, or initiated into the official order. And they've been discussing potentially initiating her a little bit early. And so she's like doing something called a heritage ritual, which is the next step after this like original confirmation ritual. So that takes her one step closer to basically never being able to get out. So that you've got that kind of underlying tension always going. It's kind of interesting, the conversations that are going on over here. First of all, Angela being like, I know who, and everybody's like, shh. Angela giving a sad face, or no, I thought it was a crying face, but it's a zipper, mouth closed. Jennifer says, I love all the unanswered questions and the little ongoing mysteries. Me too. So lots of little fun things, some guesses about who's behind all of it. We'll have to wait and see, right? It's really fun. So thank you guys for being here. I had completely forgotten on Friday to mention that the time changed. So I apologize for those of you that have missed the beginning because of the time change. And thank goodness for YouTube notifications and that you were paying attention, because I'm sure some of you went, what? Sarah Cannon's live. She's early. But yes, we have now changed times all the way up through fall. We will be in this time zone now. I kind of hate it, to be honest, but it's all good. We just have a little adjustment as we try to get our little baby back on schedule, but hopefully it's going to be okay tonight. But on Wednesday, we will read episode 6, and I don't think it's super long. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's also 8 pages. I read 8 pages today, and we are reading 8 pages again. And this will be the first. I will just tell you that the first chapter in Wednesday's episode begins. The title is called The Hall of Doorways. So you are going to be, like I had said, I'm trying to think of the word retrieval here. You're going to be introduced to something that you got a glimpse of in earlier books, but then now you're going to actually understand, which is a core part of how the shadow, or how the Order of Shadows works, and how some things are connected. So this will have something to do with Zara's quick arrival in Peachville and Shadowford home. So we will start out with that, as well as some unique and interesting information that is going to come to pass in Wednesday's episode towards the end. But it will be a little bit of a shorter one as well. And then on Friday, we'll have our normal coffee chats. So pretty good stuff. I am going to just probably close us off a little bit early today, because I have been literally running one thing to another all day today. So I'm going to just say goodbye here, but I just wanted to say thank you again for everybody for being here. We do have the Coven, we have Discord server now. Those, I would say the Facebook Coven and the Discord server are 2 very different types of communities. Obviously, the Discord server is something pretty new, but if you're new to Discord itself, because I know we're getting some people that are just now joining Discord, just to kind of mention some of the differences that you'll find in the communities. Facebook is a very like slow conversation kind of place. There are posts that stay, that you can read those posts. You can scroll down, you can comment on people's posts. On Discord, it's a different type of like community. So if you're not used to Discord, here's kind of what you can find when you get there. There are different channels in the Discord server. So rather than it being just like one long page, there's a positive vibe / general chat. Then there's like an over 18 adult chat that's kind of anything goes, any topics that you can talk about, personal stuff. You can talk about literally whatever you want there, as long as you stay respectful. And then we have like a Hardy's Hangout. We have a watch channel, which I wish that I had been able to do a little bit of gaming this weekend, but sadly it did not work out. I was too busy all weekend to be able to do any gaming at all, which made me sad. But we have a Hardy's Hangout, which is more for writers, for the Heart Breathings fans. And then we also have a Writing Sprints channel. We are also probably probably going to create a Camp NaNoWriMo channel in the Hardies section, because we've got Camp NaNoWriMo coming up in April. And I know some people are going to want to discuss that as we go. We also might be adding another kind of general chat channel. So there's been some discussion about like kind of adding on to that. And yes, George reminded me, there's a channel for each book series if you want to discuss them. But the way it is right now, those are spoiler channels. So if you go in and you've only read up through what we've got done today, you might see some discussion. But for those of you that know about what happens to these characters, I won't say more than that, or you know who it is that's torturing Harper with these illusions and things like that, you can go into the Shadow Demons channel and you can discuss it. Just be aware that if you have not read up through book 10 and the side stories, that you might get some spoilers. But like if you just finished reading the Fairhope series, or you're just now finishing the Eternal Sorrow series, you can go check it out, go talk about it in those channels, but just be aware that there are some spoilers. But the different thing about Discord is that it's live real-time chat. So it's not like there's a post that you can go and comment to. It's literally just like this chat that's going on YouTube. It's like always running 24 hours a day. And for that reason, it's not as heavily moderated and never will be as heavily moderated as our Facebook channel. So what you do is you just participate in the channels that you're more interested in. So if you're not interested in controversial topics or personal discussion, then just don't go into the over 18 channel, because it's not going to be super moderated. Things got a little bit heated this weekend, and we did have to ban someone that had had several warnings prior, which is unfortunate. But for the most part, it's not going to be a super heavily moderated experience. So just be aware that it is live chat. It's like real-time chat. So nobody's going to be there at 2 a.m. to make sure people are following rules. And we're going to try to not put a ton of rules in there if we can. So they're two kind of different communities, but you're welcome in either or both. I would love to have you there. Two. You want to say hi? Two. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I know what she's looking at. She's looking at my calculator. She was just saying the first number that came to mind too. But anyway, I would love to have you guys there. We may do another watch party coming up soon. So if you have any ideas about what to watch, either via Netflix teleparty or watching something else together on Discord, like gaming or just getting together to chat, let me know if you have any ideas. It's a much smaller community, but it's really fun too at the same time. And I will see you guys on Wednesday. Thank you so much for being here, and I will chat with you soon. Yeah. So as Renee said, if there is anything that's happening in the Discord channel that makes you uncomfortable, or on Facebook or any community, these are just good guidelines to follow. If you ever get into a situation that feels uncomfortable, you can always tag a moderator that will, we're not there all the time, but you can tag us, but mostly just stop interacting with those people. You can also I think you can also block people from messaging you, and other things that you can do. But the goal always for me and all the communities that I'm building is that we just have fun. But I think that when you build new communities, you have to be able to be a little bit flexible and understanding that things are not going to be perfect, that I can't control everyone's behavior. So, just stay adult about things, and let's try to get along, and know that the end goal and the end intention is for everybody to have fun. So let's try to keep that going, just like we do here in the chat. Like, we very rarely ever have any problems, and I love you guys for that. So thank you so very much. Like Christabelle said, in Discord, if you block someone, you just no longer see what they say. So if that is happening for you, just block and create a better place for yourself. But yeah, I love hanging out with you guys here, and as much as I can hang out with you, I would like to. So let's keep it going. If you are a writer, also, we have a Heart Breathings Facebook group where we will be doing a writing retreat, virtual writing retreat in Ireland this weekend. If you want to come join, it is just virtual. You ready to say goodbye? I have not spent enough time with this little baby, so I'm going to go hang out with her for a bit while we get dinner ready. And that Erin Condren haul video will be going up this afternoon. Thank you guys so much. And I will see you on Wednesday. Bye. Bye. She's going to say it. Let's say it one more time. Bye.